I know you'll survive COVID, parents. Will you survive teaching online? Since the outbreak of COVID-19, schools have been closed, and for some institutions, education has continued online. But what do parents really think about this shift in learning? Let's find out. So we'll start with Don Davis, 370. Some of these supposed to be happening classes are just not happening.
Okay.
And that can mean two things in a sim.
It now work.
It can mean it now work or just not happening at all.
Yeah. Access is an issue.
Yeah.
Access not only to tools, access to data, to internet. It's a huge issue. You know, UWI has a drive that they're trying to get tools and equipment for some of their students so that they can access online classes. But this is a huge issue.
It is.
That people are asking the ministry, what are we doing about this?
It's a skill set.
And in teaching online.
It's a skill set. Because Zoom, you can put the things up in the Zoom. Some people don't know how, so they're still using the whiteboard. But we regress. Let me hear what the
Island Girl 8235 says, overwhelmed in the past week, getting both online, the many Zoom links for accessing classes, providing the relevant guidance through lessons, monitoring classwork, whilst also in multiple work meetings myself at the same time has been crazy and exhausting. Also, don't forget the cooking, the cleaning, the washing.
Boy, oh boy. Happy Sue 47. At first it was challenging, but I insisted my girls were up and ready for school by 8 a.m. Teachers are trying their best, and this is okay since we attend a corporate school. But what will happen to kids from rural Jamaica?
Yeah.
We can't afford to leave any behind. Remember, every child must learn. Well said, Happy Sue.
Yes. Gail Pusey Butterbean says, my child has it hard as she has no gadgets and we have to borrow one for her. As soon as she starts to use it, the owner comes. Plus, times are hard. Can't afford any.
Wow.
So,
yeah. A parent was sharing with me that when she saw the science work that her kid was doing, and the teacher was saying, go get a glass of milk, and the milk was for the experiment, and she said, in some homes, the kids don't have milk to drink.
Exactly.
So it's a serious
Disparity is a real thing.
Cecilia Arnold Sutherland, it's challenging with one malfunctioning laptop and two children, one preparing for PEP and a first-year university student. Oh my gosh, we have to determine which class is more important or who will have to wait. But God is good.
That's rough, you know.
Very rough.
And 10 chances to 1, the parent needs to use the same gadget that the kids need to use to jump online. Speaking of PEP, what is going on with PEP? Ministry? Did they do the press conference?
No.
Okay. Inquiring minds would like to know. Blessed Nad Twin says it's very hectic for me, balancing my job tasks and monitoring them accordingly, plus studying.
Naughty, I'm a parent and a teacher, so I am exhausted. I can't imagine that.
Can you feel like her exhaustion in her post?
It's times two. Times two.
My God.
Times two. Wow.
Sure Hamil says, I must commend my daughter's school, Willardine Group of Schools, and her teacher, who work assiduously to meet the parents' child through different media. They are on point with communication through email, WhatsApp, Zoom, Google Classroom. Each child's spiritual, learning, and social needs are being met. That's great.
Yeah, for you, sure, Hannah.
That is great.
You know, times like these show a lot of things, and one of the things is when there's disparity, it multiplies by 10. You heard Jason and Casey in terms of the disparity of medical care to the African-American community versus other ethnicities. And here in Jamaica, Simone, it's the disparity with rural versus urban. It's a disparity with who have and who have not.
Within urban, who is haves.
Yeah.
Who does.
Yeah.
It's a tough time.
My real concern is, why are we pressing along? And I know everybody, when I say it, they say, but the reality is, it's better to stop, fix it, and then continue. It's like you have a car and you have a flat tire, and rather than just pulling the car over, changing the tire, and then going where you want to go, You're rim this car.
I'm mashing it up more.
And then when the tire is damaged or rim damaged, then you're going to buy back a new one.
The truth is that I commend the schools that are trying to do what they can do to keep some kind of continuity. My question is, what happens come the end of the term or September when some schools are where they ought to be in the curriculum
and some are not,
others are not? How do we meld the two? What happens to the grade 5ers who are supposed to sit PEP, which we don't know if that's going to happen? Are you going to test them to move into grade 6? What happens to the PEP students in grade 6 who have done one exam? Where the rest of the exams are you going to use that one performance task exam to take them to judge their high school?
Someone asked about a teacher. She says she has 30 odd students in her class and only 5 of them have been able to access online learning. So she don't even know what's going to happen with the other 20 or something. I don't know.
It's tough.
What I don't understand, and I know we have to go, is why we've been saying this for a month, but maybe the ministry knows something that we don't know. We just want to know what you know so we can stop talking about it.
And hopefully we'll hear from the ministry soon, because we need, there are too many things in limbo, too many questions. Parents are asking me every day, because I guess they figure being in media we would know what's happening, but there are a lot of questions that need answers. The last time we heard from Minister Samuda at a press conference, he said they were working on a program to roll out some more gadgets in the communities that were affected and in need. Yeah. What's happening with that program? How are we doing with that? And what's happening with the exams?
And Minister Favour Williams had also said the tablets for the teachers that should have been in a phase basis, that the first phase would have started. So maybe things are happening and we don't know, but so we can tell people, and that they're able to feel a little less anxious. I think I was telling you, Simone, that there's a young lady that won awards in the medical faculty, and Berger was telling me that her parents both drive. They're bus drivers or truck drivers. And I said to him, can you imagine if this young lady didn't have physical access to learning? With the greatest respect to our 2 parents, them couldn't help her do medicine or the subjects that were required. And then this child that has this enormous potential would not have realized who she could be and what she could become in our medical system.
Absolutely.
So I'm thinking about even the children who, because their mother or father have a master's, they are able to help them, through this time. There are others who can't. So we have every child must learn. Every child
have to learn. As you say that, I'm going to do a very shameless plug. There are companies that are offering scholarships now, guys, just to help hear that situation. I'm sure I saw Carreras post something on the weekend. I don't know if they were handing over or announcing the opening of. But I know the Grace Kennedy Foundation has $20 million in scholarships, and they opened that platform on the 1st of May, I believe, closing July 15. So if you have an issue, school not going postponed, and you have a need, then you can apply there and see if you can get some assistance. Again, though, you need a tool to apply. So find a computer, jump on, and see what you can do. And that is it for this morning. Social media talk back. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back with more right after this. Dion Jackson Miller is up next, talking about her new Lizards documentary. It's not a lizard documentary, but Lizard India.
The lizard was featured. She said it.